Welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd just start off this episode with saying we're getting serious about making this grass green and healthy. Stick with us. Okay, so it's been about a 6-year fight to get this lawn on this property working for us. We've done some incredible things, from even hydro seeding to leveling to putting in new dirt, and also obviously seeding. We've gone to war with the weeds. There's been many weeds, varieties that are beyond the pale, and I've actually described that in some prior videos. But this year we were going to do something different, right? We're going to really pay attention to the health of the dirt, the ground, the soil, focus on that area, aerate. We're going to go ahead and make sure that the alkaline is correct. We're going to make sure that we have the proper soil mixture. We're going to add some sand. We're going to add some compost. And then obviously we're going to do some overseeding as well, as we have plenty of pockets throughout the 2 acres of land here that require additional seed just to fill in the areas that are blank. So we'll go through it. I'm standing in front of the machines that are going to make it all happen. The earth and turf off to my far right. Obviously the ATV that's going to haul it around. We're also going to use some our lawnmower and use an aerator from Billy Goat. And all those equipment items put together, combined with a couple, rotary spreaders and drop spreaders, just to make it easier for those items to work out for us as well. So 2 acres of land is a little different. It come from suburbia. Obviously you rolled out, about, call it maybe 300 to 500 square feet of lawn. And yeah, you did some overseeding there from time to time, particularly in Southern California. You barely even attended to it other than some feeding, some making sure there was some weed and feed. Other than that, it was pretty much year-round looking okay. Maybe just a hint of yellowish and hint of dying in the winter. Other than that, solid green. So it hasn't left my mind. Still trying to achieve it. And obviously, as I stand right here, this area is looking really good. This is where I would say my predecessors that owned the property spent some attention. We've spent some attention. It is relatively level. It's got all the feed and seed of all the years that have gone on, and watered and irrigated, because this was the only location on the property really that you could have done a decent job with watering, because it was the only thing that was close enough to all the heads and get some irrigation in here. Now we're fully irrigated. If you've seen in the prior videos, the entire 2 acres is irrigated. So we're ready to go. We've got 1 million gallons of water this year to work with. Obviously usable about 600,000. So we've got it all going on. So let's jump into this video and show how I'm going about attacking our lawn situation this year, 2025. Ground is, it's so funny, the fields are all full of grass, but the particular areas that we're working on, when you want them to be a little bit more perfect and make sure that they have the look of a lawn, there's more work to it, right, than just the field grass. So the first step I want to do is take the aeration with this Billy Goat here, this tow behind. Never used it before, first time ever. If you've been with the channel, you saw me assemble it. So it's exciting to use this and see how it puts out the effort. It's also my first time aerating, so I've never done that before. So there's a lot of news today, and hopefully it works out better than what normally happens when it's new and you got to learn your way through it. So first step I'm going to do is work around the back of my parents' house and come around here and come back and forth. Now I have already identified, if you see the orange flags in the background there, I've identified the sprinkler heads so I don't run them over. So I've taken all the precautions. I'm ready to go here. I've got the ATV hooked up to this. I've switched out the tires. Again, if you've been with the channel, you saw me switch out the tires. That was the purpose for it. And I think the ground is solid enough to take the ride. So we're ready to go. Let's get into this and wish me luck. Okay, with the aeration done in the west, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to feeding my soil. It's another thing that you learn along the way, that the soil is just as important as anything else, right? It makes sense. If the grass or whatever you're trying to plant doesn't work well with the soil you have, well, then you don't have what you want. The plant is not going to live. So I bought myself this Magic Hal Plus. This is Jonathan Green seed that I've put all over the lawn. So that's what we have for a lawn here. So I've just stayed with the brand. And my alkaline is setting somewhere around 8. And as it shows there in the meter that I have down below, somewhere around 7.5 to 8. So I've been getting sometimes in some areas 85, 8.5 to 9. So very much like a lot of weeds and stuff like that. And then everything's really yellow come summertime, really bad. So I'm gonna start now with just putting it, I'm gonna hand push it. I have some equipment that allows me to roll it out and carry behind it on the lawnmower. I don't like it. Now, walking 2 acres back and forth over and over and over again, I'm not gonna like that too much either, but I probably need it, and that's just the way it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to work on it. With the aeration completed and the food placed down to improve the soil condition away from the pH factor that I've been experiencing here on the property, it's been about 7.5, 8, of course, creating weeds and not allowing the grass to grow. So we're treating that, we'll continue to treat that. And part of the aeration and the solution is to also add in compost and sand into the soil and get that, that nice richness that's necessary for the microbiotics to go to work for us, right? So, so here's the main event. We've got the pile here that I just showed you dumped in, and then also we have our new toy that I showed you before that is assembled. It's ready to go, the earth and turf material spreader. So first time using it, so we'll see how that goes. I'm optimistic I should go very well. So what I'm gonna do is grab a scoop, place it in here gently. Don't know what I'm doing. First time doing it, I'll get a little bit more expedient as I go along. And then haul it over to my parents' house and start the process. So we have a real difficult area that I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, so it's only going to take 1 bucket. There might be a quarter, not worth it. Just go over and do 1 bucket at a time, and we'll see how this works this first time. So one of the things is I'm not positioned well. I got a slope here about 15 degrees or so. So I'm gonna, when I come in next time, I'm gonna make sure that I'm laid out better so that I don't have to spend so much time worrying about the tractor. When I was digging out this space, it left me some divots and stuff that I got to fix. Of course, this stuff here, when it gets to spreading around in here, it's going to end up solving my problem. So with that, let's pop over to my parents' house. Standing in front of this beautiful flowering cherry tree. This is one of our sections all the way down and across the hill to the hawthorn in the very back there. It's just terrible. It's spotty. It's rocky. It's yeah, very, very hard to grow anything here. I got plenty of water available for the section, but it's just difficult to get it to take root. So I think this is going to be one of the better areas to test everything out. I will have to learn a little bit about the radius and turning this thing. There is a slight slope. So obviously, I don't think I'm overly top heavy. It looks like the wheelbase is wide enough on the earth and turf, so we should be okay. So with that, here we go. One thing I do want to note that I have the gate on the earth and turf about a 1/2 inch to hopefully lay out a 1/2 inch worth of product. Again, this is my first time. We'll see how it goes. Okay, the earth and turf tool is doing exactly what I was expecting. It is difficult because of the length of it to get into small areas. That's just the way that's got to be. I knew that up front. So I'm going to continue with it on these long runs and finish off the parents' house yard today, because as it turns out, it's quite a bit of kind of thinking it through, and then I'm going to have to wash this down a bit and then throw the seed on top of it and then hit it again with the same dirt and then put some food down. So it's quite a process. So now I have all the sand compost mix applied to the ground, about a 1/2 inch thick everywhere I can, possibly get to with the machine. I've had to do a little shovel work here and there to, scatter on top. So now I'm ready for putting down the seed in some places where it's so thin, and then the food. So that's the next 2 steps. And then of course I'll finish it off with a covering. I'd like it to be a 1/4 inch, but I will see how it goes. The machine has the ability to grade into that, and I just think you're just putting a little bit of a dusting, a scattering on top of the seed for 2 reasons. One, the sight bird eating, and then the second piece is, the fact that you need a little bit of soil around that seed to get it to germinate. Not too far down, obviously, because then it just doesn't even receive sun and the heat and all that, and it's not good. So, yeah, we're going to get to that right now. So that's the next step. I don't even know what step I'm on, 4th, I think. Yeah, let's keep going with it. Okay, so I'm ready to apply the seed, and I have these little spikes here on this AgriFab tool. It does a nice job with the seeds. It does not do a particularly good job with the fertilizer because the granulars are too big to go through the little holes. So also too, this little guy here is a little flimsy, so it bounces around, so I have a couple clamps here to keep it in place. So the nice thing about these is once you set this, it kind of cuts into the ground like a quasi-aeration, and it drops the seed just below the surface. So I don't expect much success there when it comes to the pieces that are true overseeding, but when I get to the barren places, then it's quite nice. So with that, let me go to work, and let's get this going. So with the seed down, now it's time to feed the seed and the lawn itself with this Green from Jonathan Green. Again, I'm staying with this product line that maps back to their seeds. So, you know, I'm excited about the lawn. I really like the lawn. When it's in and it's in place, it looks just amazing. Again, I picked it for deep roots. You know, some years ago, I was talking about this on the video that, you know, it supposedly goes down to 4-foot roots. And again, during that August month, this clay still sits with a lot of water down deep. So you don't have to water as much. If it can get there, that's the key. So I'm trying to help it get there. And so that the water that is so precious, you know, the well behind me in the lighthouse, simply 2 gallons per minute, could not handle the elements of the property at all. It needed to only handle the homes. That's why we have the 2 cisterns, so that handles the homes just fine, so it can produce all night long and store. So that's an investment in the future type situation. And then also too, what we have at the reservoir with the, you know, the 500,000 to 600,000 usable gallons out of the million that's collected every year. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this open, put it in, and I'm going to walk it. There's no reason to use the machine, and in fact, the machine's holes are not big enough for the large particles that come with the slow release. So with that, let's get to it. It's nice that this container takes exactly the bag, so that's good. So let me just real quick here. It almost looks like salt that you could, let me see if I can get that in the camera. If I don't, then I'll cut it. But you can see here, it's like salt almost particles. So very large chips. And, you know, that just doesn't go well with the, you know, most of these systems that are just going to drop it. The holes are just too small. Whereas here, the mouth is a little bit bigger and it goes into the spin. Okay, with that, let's get to the pour. As I mentioned earlier, I went ahead and did a second round of applying the sand compost mixture to the top of the seed, working towards a 1/4 inch. Spare you to going loop to loop all the way around. So this is the wrap up. It's about 5 weeks later, and it looks like we've had a great effect. If you recall this area, it was completely like done, right? Maybe a little bit of plant here, a little bit of plant there, totally dead and barren. We're thickening up quite aggressively so. There are still some brown spots. That's why there's more months in the year and more activities to do in the fall. But overall, we definitely have moved the needle on moving towards a more lush lawn. We're going to need, obviously, continuous work in this regard. I think in Northern Territories, that's always a regular. You know, down in LA, you could get away with maybe feeding it twice a year, maybe a little weed and feed. But when you get up here, it's between the snow compaction, the moles, the general direction of the weather, you're going to fight it all the time. So with that, I think what we're going to do is continue with the process in the fall, continue aerating, continue to make sure that we have the food down, and treat the soil as much as we're treating the grass. With that, thank you for sticking to the end of this video. I hope it's been somewhat informative. This is what I'm doing, and I'll keep with it. See you next time.